Hey everyone, Fina here from Fina Reads. I'm so excited to have you with us today. For my Wednesday video, I invited author and publishing imprint owner and speaker and YouTuber, and I let her introduce herself with a long list of things she does, Theresa Halvorsen. Yay!
Oh, I'm so glad to be here. So yeah, I'm an editor. I can't pick a genre, author, a publisher, a YouTube host. I'm a speaker. Pretty much anything in like this writing world, I will try it, but I will try it really hard because I love everything about writing. So yeah, that's me.
Clearly, I want to take a second to really acknowledge that everything you just listed, that everything that you're doing, and you still have a day job, right? Like this
I
is your
do.
part-time
Right, this is my side hustle.
endeavor. So when do you sleep?
I don't.
Got it. That explains a little bit. Okay,
Yeah,
got it.
yeah.
Awesome. So I want to start. There are a lot of things to talk about, but I want to definitely start talking with you about your books. So one of them, hang on. I always put them sneaky in the back there, but now I need to hold it up, is Warehouse Dreams. That was my first intro to you. I met you at, I actually don't know, was it WonderCon?
It
One of those.
probably was WonderCon or Comic-Con.
One of those, yeah. And it sounded fantastic. Do you want to tell us a little bit about Warehouse Dreams before I butcher it completely?
Yeah, of course. And I will also show you the new cover.
The new copy, which matches, hang on, your new book 2 in the
Right?
series as well. These are
Yeah,
so pretty.
such a pretty cover.
Yeah.
But Warehouse Dreams is about a teacher trying to keep her supernatural students from blowing up the school. And this year, a hot new teacher has started, and she cannot stand him. And that's what it's about. So it's set in a school. The school's very run down, very underfunded. The teachers and the people who work there are very, very committed to these children who society really doesn't want around anymore. And so these teachers are working 70, 80, 90-hour weeks. They're getting paid less than minimum wage. Kendall, who's the main character, her job is basically keep the school running. And so she's constantly juggling things like keeping the hot water on or heating the school. There's a lot of comments about like food, because food insecurity for these kids is a big thing. She often will take kids off the streets. And so she wants to make sure that they're fed, but obviously food is a big issue as well because it costs money to do that. So there's a lot of layers to this series that I tried to tuck into it. As much as I am riding the romantasy wave, so yes, I am leaning onto the romance side of things and the romance between Kendall and Stephen. It's not just a romantasy. No. There's a lot more to it.
Yeah.
So it's a fun one. I like it. It's found family, and it's about it's really about how we treat otherness in our society. I never know if it's simile or metaphor, but it's a simile or a metaphor for how we treat people who are a little bit different, that maybe make us a little bit uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And the other part I forgot to say, all these characters are telepaths and psychokinetics, and that's why society doesn't want them around. You are uncomfortable, understandably, around somebody who could read your mind. I mean, that makes sense, but they can't help it. So yeah, the warehouse exists to teach them control of their abilities.
Yeah. And it's interesting what I thought with Warehouse Dreams, because my list was also dystopian, X-Men inspired, nonprofit, magic is school, but from the POV of the teacher. And then, the list goes on as you were just going through. It's like, but still, it sounds like there's a lot going on, but it doesn't feel like it. The book is actually very coherent and goes through all of these topics, touches on them in a very thought about manner. Like, it's not brushed aside. Like, you really think through those things and you weave them in all the time, and you discuss them and show, this is what could be, like a dystopian novel should be, right? So I find it very, very interesting, like, about how many aspects you are touching, which is then also since I love reading indie books, this is the best example of an indie book, because when you publish indie, you can do these types of things, right? Like with
Yep.
trade publish, you would have to pick a lane, like maybe one or two of those items, excuse me, and then you pick a lane. But with warehouse dreams, you really exploded in the book with the themes, and it works. It works really, really
Thank you.
well.
Thank you. Yeah, it explores anxiety. The main character has a severe anxiety problem. She has a hero complex. She's very, very controlling of her environments. And I worked very, very hard to make her relatable, but also really dig into those feelings of deep, deep anxiety when you're in full panic mode, but you still have to save the day.
Yeah. And that in different aspects, right? You touched a little bit on the nonprofit and finding food and paying the bills. Like, that is a big picture in the story. And I found it so interesting because you feel it. Like, I felt it while I was reading. It's like, oh my God, how are they finding the money now? It's a nonprofit, right? So they're relying on donors, they're relying on the parents of the students, they're relying on whatever politicians to help fund this school that other people don't want to be there because of the otherness of the students who go there. And it is interesting and scary and really thought-provoking to read through this, and to read through like what a nonprofit has to go through to make sure they stay running, and what challenges that they are facing. Not just, finding random students somewhere where like, oh, we really need to help you now, but also just the day-to-day business. It's super interesting.
Yep. Thank you. Thanks.
Do you have like a nonprofit background, or is this research knowledge for the?
Yeah, I do. So I worked for a nonprofit for about 4 years in my other life. I work in healthcare. So I worked at a community clinic for about 4 years, and definitely pulled on a lot of that experience for Warehouse Dreams.
Interesting. Yeah, it felt pretty real. So, I mean, I have zero experience, but I was like, yeah, I can totally see all of these things happening. That is super interesting. And then the other part that I thought was interesting are the abilities of the students, right? So there's a little bit on designed otherness in this world, and then there is a little bit of unwanted otherness in this world.
Right, exactly. So there's basically 3 classes. So there's regs, which are like you and me, like I'm not a telepath, I'm not a psychokinetic.
Yeah.
Then there are breads, and breads are genetically modified based on how much money their parents can pay. And so you've got like Stephen, the main love interest in this one, he's what's called a quality bred. His family spent millions upon millions of dollars on his genetic code to make him what they wanted it to be. And let me tell you, that theme is going to get explored more in book 2 and really in book 3.
Okay.
Because the question is, just because you have a genetic code that spells a certain way, does that really, how does that impact your personality and who you are and the choices that you make? And of course, there are lesser breds as well, so their parents couldn't afford quite so much. So, there's maybe some consequences for that. And then you've got wilds, which is who the school is for, who the warehouse is for. And wilds just kind of appeared in the population about the same time the breds did. Wilds are born to reg parents, and kind of like how you may have a child who has autism or special needs, and now all of a sudden your plans for the future have changed dramatically. And so some parents will do anything for their kids. They will work with them and everything else. But society is saying, your kid can't come to our school. Your kid can't participate in after school activities. When things get really bad, you could be fired from your job for having a wild child, because your wild child might read your thoughts about work and then tell all their friends about something that's confidential.
Yeah.
So there's huge societal implications here. And so, of course, you're going to have like the fantastic parents who are like, whatever it takes, I will help you. And then you're going to have the other ones who will throw their kids out, who will institutionalize them, who will lock them away. And those are the families that the teachers at the warehouse are dealing with and trying to help these kids.
Yeah. With all these heavy themes, is that why you decided to put a romance in there to lighten it up a little bit?
I think so. Actually, probably. Honestly, I just really like romance plots, and I love rivals to lovers, and that's what this is.
Yeah.
I mean, Stephen and Kendall are just on opposite sides of the spectrum, and Kendall's just like, dude, you quality bred, get out of here. You don't understand our life. And Stephen's like, but I really want to help. And Kendall's like, get out of here. Like,
Yeah.
you're not going to be able to help. Like, you're showing up with all your money. That's cool. Good for you. And again, we're going to explore in book 3, Stephen's motivation a lot more.
Oh, very good. I'm very interested in that.
Yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be fun. So
awesome. Yeah. And then you have a huge side character cast. Is that how you say that too? In the school, right? It's not just those two teachers, it's all the teachers pretty much in the school, various of the students that you dive deeper into as well. How are they going to do in book 2 and 3? Are we seeing them all again, or?
We are. So in book 2, and I don't want to give away any spoilers, but book 2 really kind of tightens the camera in on Kendall, Stephen, and then 3 of the students, so Leo, Becca, and Cassie. And then we also get Stephen's ex-girlfriend. So, Indira's got a significant part in book 2. And if you read book 1, you'll understand kind of why that had to happen. But you actually get chapters from her point of view in book 2.
Oh, interesting. Oh, that is good. Mm-hmm. It is, remind me, it has been about a year since I read Warehouse Dreams, but Warehouse Dreams is also multi-POV, right?
It's not, actually. So book 1 was Kendall's point of view. Book
it's the
2,
dreams. Yes.
The dreams, yeah. Yeah.
That's why I keep thinking that.
Yeah, book 2 was mostly Kendall's point of view, but I had to tuck some of Indira in there. Book 2 took me 5 years to write. I got horribly blocked on it. And it's because of how I end, again, try not to give spoilers. It's because of how I ended book 1. Mm-hmm. I really locked myself in, and I couldn't figure out how to get the characters out of it in a way that made sense.
Yeah.
And then when I wrote all the other drafts, the feedback that I got from my developmental editor and my beta readers was, we don't quite understand what's happening. So I ended up having to tuck in chapters from Indira's point of view as well. So
got it. That makes sense. Yeah. I mean, it helps, right? Broadens kind of the storyline a little bit too then in book 2. Nice. Yeah. I'm excited. Yeah, it's on my list for soon because I really want to continue in that world. I really enjoyed like all of these aspects that we just talked about. The romance, even though it's a funny one and it's really fun, I felt it was kind of like, okay, it's a little bit on the side. I really want to dive into all of these other themes and learn more about the school, especially that magical school from a teacher point of view was so interesting and different too, right? Because magical school is a big theme as well in the fantasy world. So I'm excited to continue that one. Was that your first book that you wrote? Because you said 5 years to 2021 was that published? Was that the first book that you published?
It was picked up by a small press, and they did a great job with it. And then when they closed, as small presses often do, they gave me my rights back. And then I had a huge choice. Do I go back into the query trenches with a book that had already been published by somebody else, which, let's be honest, probably would not get picked up, or do I do my own thing? And so I decided to do my own thing, and I formed No Bad Books Press, and here we are.
Awesome. We talk about that one in a little bit because there's a lot going on with your imprint as well. The publishing imprint. I never know how to say that properly. Imprint.
You said it right.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Warehouse Dreams. So what came after then? What was your next book then after that?
So after Warehouse Dreams was River City Widows.
Wait, I have that too. There.
Yeah, that one that one has a new cover as well, which I don't have over here. Yeah, that was a good one. I'm all packed up for LA Festival of Books, so all of my books are downstairs in boxes. But River River City Widows was really kind of a passion project in many ways. I set it in Sacramento because I grew up in Sacramento and I raised my sons up until they were about 11 in Sacramento as well. So that book has a lot of little hidden moments in there that if you're familiar with the Sacramento area, you're like, oh my gosh, I know that. And I really kind of wrote it as a love letter to my family and when we were living there and growing up there. But it's about a young widow whose stepdaughter brings a Ouija board home from college, and then nothing bad happens.
Yeah, of course. So, just I'm about 2/3 through right now. 138. This is a bit shorter one, like 200 and a little
It
bit.
is,
I'm on
yeah.
page 138 right now, so no spoilers. Anyway, no spoilers. But this is very different than Warehouse Dreams. So this is a ghost story. It's a horror story, ghost story, haunted house, and boy, I started it reading it at night and I was like, not going to happen. I need to read it. There's like from an atmospheric perspective, when it comes to horror books, there is a lot of good stuff going on. But again, you wove in a little bit of like lighter hearted moments, like your reference of the TV show with the two good looking boys, like, you know, those types of
right?
Really helps. Really helps to take a deep breath in the middle of everything that is going on. You're like, okay, we're good. Nothing bad is going to happen.
Yeah. That one's actually set up for a trilogy on that one as well. So I'm hoping I can get back to that within the next year or so. So yeah, because it really is set up that way.
All right. Well, I haven't read the endings. Is it an open ending or is it kind of
It's not
out?
an open ending.
Okay, good.
It's not an open ending. Yeah.
Otherwise, I would have to start pestering you to write this sooner. No, just kidding. All right. So we talked about Warehouse Dreams. We talked about River City Widows. Those are not the only books you wrote, though. You wrote a bunch more books, right?
Yeah. So I legit am a can't pick a genre author. Don't do that. It makes marketing terrible. Because people are like, what kind of genres do you write in? And I'm like, I don't know.
Everything.
Everything. So I have a true ghost stories about the ghosts that are aboard the Star of India down in the San Diego Harbor. It's called Lost Aboard. That one's a really fun one. We interviewed cast, crew, and volunteers to get their stories, and we interspersed it with stories from the logbooks as well. So you get spooky and you get history.
Oh, but it is written as a novel, or is it more written as a nonfiction about the ship?
A creative. So the best way I can describe it is that it's a creative nonfiction.
Okay.
So what the other author Sarah and I did with that one was we took some creative license and we imagined what the entities who are aboard, what it was like for them when they were aboard. So, like, for example, Johnny is probably the most famous ghost aboard. He was a stowaway turned crew. So one of the stories in the book is how he got aboard the Star of India. And it's actually a really interesting one. He got aboard because the Star of India collided with another ship and he jumped aboard the Star of India.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
So yeah, so we basically, rather than being like, when the ships crashed, Johnny's jumped aboard, we kind of, dug into it a little bit more and put a little creative spin on that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That sounds fun. All right. And then you also have a romance novel, like an actual romance novel, right?
I have two, actually. So I have Lying, Baking, and Surfing, and Lying, Baking, Surfing was my rom-com. It's set in San Diego. And again, I did the same thing I did with River City Widows, where I worked in a lot of true San Diego locations into there. And that is about a couple who meets while pretending to be somebody else. So basically, both of them are broke. They're just kind of feeling a little broken and a little bit lost in life, and they're burnt out. And when they meet, she's like, I'm a yoga instructor. And he's like, that's so cool. I own a surf shop. They don't. They're lying. But then, like, when they go out to dinner, and the main character, she's like eyeing a steak. He's like, ooh, do you eat meats? And she's like, no, dang it. I don't, because a yoga instructor would not eat meat.
Aww. Oh
So, and
man.
then like they have one of those amazing, amazing dates that are just magical. And of course, you want to like keep hanging out with this person, but you've started the lies. So then they keep compounding and compounding and compounding and
Mhm.
compounding until eventually it explodes. So,
Awesome. That also
yeah.
okay. I added another book to my TBR just now. Great. So, with all these different genres that you're writing in, so one of the things that I've observed when it comes to publishing is that authors tend to say if you write in different genres, use different pen names. You're clearly not doing that.
No, I'm not doing that. And it's a laziness reason. I have enough problems keeping up with social media. I can't imagine trying to do that with different pen names.
Very true.
Um,
Yeah.
yes, probably if I was doing this the quote unquote right way, I would have done it that way. Um, I just didn't. I will say though that if I end up moving more into, if my books end up getting more steamy, I probably will move toward a pen name
We'll
just
see.
because.
Yeah,
But
maybe, maybe, maybe
we'll see what
not.
happens. See what the future holds. Who knows?
Exactly, exactly. Awesome. All right, and then all your books are published under No Bad
No Bad Books
Press
Press. Yeah.
that
That's
way
the
around. Thank
imprint.
you. So you told us a little bit already how that came to be. Was that really with the warehouse dreams you got the rights back and you said, I'm just doing my own thing now and then put everything under?
Yep.
So how is it to run an imprint?
Um, it's really interesting. So I have used No Bad Books to publish my books and other authors who I know and who I'm close with books. I've also used it to publish several anthologies, which are I love publishing anthologies because it gives a lot of new authors a chance to have their book, have their stories in
Yeah,
prints.
yeah,
And it makes them so happy. The hands down some of my best experiences at WonderCon or Comic Con or at LA Festival of Books is when those authors come by my table and they just start signing copies and they are
yeah,
so happy and so proud. And that's why I like doing anthologies for that reason. They don't sell the best, I'll be totally honest. They're a lot of work actually, but I love being able to give that back to the community and to new authors. And their
yeah.
stories are good. They're good writers.
Yeah, which isn't especially impressive. I always find it fascinating when you can tell your story in whatever, 20 pages or 5 pages, or even if it's 50 pages. That is not a lot of space to, share what it is that you want to talk about and show the world and show the people and show the motivation and everything that belongs to that. I always find it incredibly impressive when authors can pull that off. So
Yeah.
that's exciting. And it's a lot of anthologies, right? Like there's one
Mhm.
focused on LGBTQT that you
Yep.
have published, one focused on cats. I saw the cats sneaking around earlier, so there's a theme.
Yeah, he's down here. Yeah, so I've got the first one we did was released, and that was a horror anthology. That was not the plan. It's just all the stories that we got were kind of horror based. So there was released. There was The Mirror, which was when
Yeah.
cats and mirrors collide. There was Queens in Wonderland, which is the LGBTQIA one. That one I did. I mean, I love Alice in Wonderland. I think it's fantastic, but I sell the majority of my books at events and at tables. I love doing that. And I would have people come up to my table and be like, "Do you have anything that's LGBTQIA?" And I would have to say, "No, I don't." Um, so I really wanted to do that anthology to have that on my table and also provide that voice.
Yeah.
And it is hands down my favorite anthology because every story in there is a story of hope and safety and acceptance. There's nothing sad. Even the heavy stories, they end on a positive note. They end on a hopeful note.
Oh, that is
And
amazing.
I view that anthology as just rippling out hope and acceptance,
Yeah.
which we desperately need right now, desperately.
Oh, no kidding. Yes. Yes, that's amazing, and that is also one that, especially when you talk about being at conventions and whatnot, really pulls you in because if you see the cover, so you guys, for those of you watching this, go to Amazon, check out the cover. It is very vibrant, very hopeful in that sense too, very colorful, and I love
Yeah.
that it fits together so nicely.
Yeah, the cover artist did a fantastic job with it. It really leans into the whimsy of it, and yeah, it was beautiful.
Awesome. All right. And then for your publishing house, so is your focus really, sorry, for your imprint, is your focus your own books, or do you want to take on more authors that are in your area? I know you are in a big group of like so-called horror authors and so-called writers, like so-called being Southern California, just in case for those who don't know in the area. You work with a lot of authors in the area together. So is your plan to grow that and give those authors a place where they can publish their book? Is that where you want to go with that?
Yeah, I would like to. I can't right now in this moment, see, day job.
Mm.
But
Yeah,
I would like to. I would like to one day. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see what the future holds.
that is awesome. And then you're also, in general, very active in the community. You speak at a lot of events, you provide help to authors, you work together with authors. I mean, I don't know when you do that, but you do.
I do. I do. So I'm very active. So I live in Temecula. So I'm very active with the Temecula Valley Writers and Illustrators group. So for them, I've taught a Middlers for them. And a Middlers are really cool. Middlers are kind of like this mid-month talk that you give. So I did that. I taught 3 classes on modern fairy tale retellings because the group is putting out a modern fairy tale retellings
Ooh.
anthology. And
Ooh.
it's fairy tale retellings are actually harder than people realize. So I taught a 3-class session on that.
Yeah.
I facilitate the monthly marketing group for them. And I've taught classes for San Diego Writers Inc. Pretty much, I really love teaching too. Again, I love anything in this world. Uh, so I just kind of try stuff and I put myself out there and I'm like, I could teach on that. I could talk about that. Um, and I've worked very hard to be very knowledgeable about, you can't be knowledgeable about all aspects. And I'm definitely
Fair.
still learning so much, but I try to be knowledgeable and then pass on that knowledge because this life is hard. It's really hard.
Well,
And
complex. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, and nuanced and the number of people who give up, that have a book that's ready to go and they stop because the process of indie or self-publishing is so complex and so nuanced
Hmm.
just breaks my heart.
Yeah. Yeah, I see that. I'm a lot in Reddit. I love Reddit for, I don't know for what reason, but for whatever reason I do. And there's a self-publishing group, and there are a lot of conversations about like, hey, I'm ready to publish my book. What do I need to know? And it's the very similar conversations over and over again. And I love to see that people in that community, in that group about self-published authors, always help and say like, hey, whatever, you need arc readers, you need, a launch campaign, don't just publish it and hope for the best. Like, here are some things
Yeah.
you could do, here's some resources you could look at. And I love that authors tend to generally work together and lift each other up, right, and say like, hey, don't worry, we'll figure this out all together. Everybody knows a little bit, and then all together we will, we'll get it done and get your book
Yes.
published in a good manner, which is difficult nowadays. I mean, let's not even talk about AI, but just in general, the amount of books that are out there. If I scroll through Amazon, like as a reader, I mean, I scroll through Amazon like 20 pages later, it's like, okay, now I'm tired. Now I'm done. I have a list of 5 books that I want to read now. It's a challenge to be seen
It is.
nowadays.
Yeah, the fiction market is very saturated right now. And it's very hard to get your voice heard and out there. And I feel like whenever somebody finds a trick that works and they share it with others, which you absolutely should, that trick stops working.
Hmm.
And it can be very, very challenging to find the next big thing or to manage to catch a trend right before it dies again.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, The other thing that I really recommend kind of for marketing, and I admit I'm still a throw spaghetti at the wall and see what sticks kind of person.
I mean, I work in marketing. That's kind of how this works. Big secret.
Well, thank you. That makes me feel a lot better. Because what I was going to say is pick something and just get really, really good at it.
Yeah.
The challenge is picking something and getting really, really good at it still may not work.
Yeah, and then you need to try other things. The one thing that I definitely learned with marketing is consistency. No matter what it
Mhm.
is you try to do, don't do it once or twice and then like, oh, it doesn't work and walk away. You have to do it a certain amount of time over and over and over again, and then you will know if it works, which is a very time sensitive thing. I'm fully aware of that. But yeah, unfortunately, marketing is not a science. It's a throw spaghetti at a wall type of situation. I don't know. It is what it is.
Probably
But
explains my TikTok.
well, but that is something that I actually really enjoy on your site. So I follow you on, well, not on TikTok. I follow you on Instagram. TikTok is giving me a headache, man. But probably very similar videos. You are very
Yes.
active on that platform. You're posting videos all the time. You're talking about your writing. You talk about marketing. You talk about your book. You share steamy scenes from the book and read some parts out loud. That is something you've been doing for a little bit now too, right?
It is. It is. So, yeah, I decided probably about 6 months ago, maybe a year ago now. I really needed to get back to focusing on social media.
Mhm.
I have a social media helper who helps me with kind of the Canvas stuff and everything else. Which, when I don't feel like doing a video, I will go ahead and have her make something up and kind of throw those up. That really helps. You are absolutely correct that the same videos on Instagram are the same ones on TikTok.
I do the same. So all good.
Yeah, it's just easier. And I
Yeah.
like recording in the TikTok platform. I do. I think it's easier than the Instagram platform. So yeah.
Yep. Yep. Someone is watching a fun movie.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm about to tell him to knock it off.
That's all right. That's all right. And then the other thing, which is a little bit marketing too, right? So you're big on social media, but we also talked a little bit about the conventions already. You are in the SoCal area. You're on various conventions. We just talked about WonderCon a little bit. Well, before I started recording. So you're always at WonderCon in LA. You tend to be at LA Comic Con as well, right? Which is in November, December, depending on, also in LA. You're at various so-called events, always with the table, always with the publishing imprint. That you've been doing that for a while too, right? Like that has been going on longer. Oh, did I lose you? Hang on.
It's me. Am I
You
still here?
Oh, there you are. Yes.
Okay. Sorry about that.
No worries.
Yeah, I've actually, events are where I sell the majority of my books. I'm actually very good at it. And I teach classes on how to have a successful vendor table too. Uh,
Because why not?
everything's got to get monetized. But I really do love it. It's fun to me to meet people and meet readers and just talk with them about their books. I also love chit-chatting with authors about their stories too. I've gotten a lot of editing clients out of doing events like that.
Oh, that is very
It's
cool.
Yeah, it's just fun. It's just fun. It is overwhelming, I will admit, when I do like Comic Con. So Comic Con runs Wednesday night through Sunday, and by Sunday, I'm exhausted. And I don't even know how many people go to Comic Con. 100,000 people,
A
200,000
lot.
people.
A lot. It's not a
Yeah.
small event. Yeah.
No, it's absolutely insane. I will lose my voice. And the other thing that's really fun about like Comic Con, where it's a wall of people walking in front of your table, is that you have your table between them. So you like get a break.
By the way,
And
we are
then
talking San Diego Comic Con right now, right? Like the big one. Yeah.
a big one. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, but it's fun. And then I'm doing LA Festival of Books in just a couple of days here. So, and that one is, I didn't realize this, but that is the largest event in Los Angeles.
Isn't it even the largest book festival in the US? I've read something
It
like
is.
that, in the entire
It
US, with a lot of people traveling in. So for people who don't know, what is the LA Book Festival? Can you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, it's put on by the LA Times, so the Los Angeles Times, and it is a ginormous book event. So it is panels, it is signings, it is exhibitors, it is just books and bookish stuff everywhere, and everybody is wearing bookish clothes, and everybody's a reader, and everybody is so happy. And one of my favorite things that I love to do at these events is I'll hang up and it's just a big poster board, and I'll put sticky notes below for people to answer questions. And so I love to ask questions like, what's your favorite trope?
Yeah.
And then I get to sit there and I get to interact with people. And I'm like, really? Only one bed's your favorite trope, huh?
Mine was, when I was there last year, my question was, who's your favorite male main character? I believe roughly something like that.
Book boyfriend. Yeah.
Book boyfriend. That's what it was. Right. And I put King Zachary from the book Green Rider, which barely anyone knows, which is fine. If you've been on my channel, you guys on my channel, you know, because I talk about this book all the time. But yeah, that was really fun because and then you could read also from the other people what they put there. It's like, oh, I know this guy. Oh, I haven't heard who's this, and you start googling. It's a lot of fun.
It's really fun too because people will get into battles with it, and they're like, PETA, no, and I'm like, you can't take it off. You can cover it up.
You have to. You said it. It's there. It's recorded now. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're not taking things off, but and people will like write on it and like they'll be like no, and they'll like do arrows to other ones. It's so much fun.
Yeah.
And the cool thing is that you get to have like these awesome conversations about books. You know, like
Yeah.
if somebody makes a Princess Donut reference, I know what they're talking about. If I comment on Princess Donut at work, no one knows what I'm talking about.
Oh
But
yeah.
book people do.
Yeah, let's not talk about that part. Yeah, I 100% agree. Like I was at the LA Book Festival for the first time last year, and it's huge. There's so many tents with so many authors, and you like walk one way. It's like we're done now, right? No. You go around the corner and there's as many tents there, and then you go in the corner. It is crazy. It's on the USC campus, right?
Yep.
On the university campus. Yeah, and it's huge with, as you said, panels all day long, big authors that are even you can buy tickets for big events with big authors readings and whatnot, but also even free stuff. Like the event itself is free, I believe, right?
It is free. Yep. The panels and signings are free. However, they do fill up. So a lot of times you have to get there early. But yeah, last year Rebecca Yarros was there. She wrote the Fourth Wing series. Yeah.
And I think Lionel Richie is there this year, right?
Yep, I saw Lionel Richie was there. Yep.
Yeah. It is so interesting, and it's everything. Like it's not just fantasy. It's like literally every genre is there, and there are some genres that I've never heard of in my entire life. It is so interesting.
And, like what?
Oh, I don't know anymore. Like I was like,
that's fine.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of different stuff that you can find, right? Like a lot of things that you're like, oh, maybe I'll give it a try and see how this is going. Not great for your credit card, I tell you that much, but
oh no, it's dangerous there because it's not just books either. And I say this as somebody who has not just books, but it's t-shirts and bags and candles and things for your Kindle to bling out your Kindle. Bookmarks, anything bookish related is going to be there. But yeah, if you're a book person, very dangerous for your credit card.
Yeah, and you do that too, right? You also sell T-shirts and little items as well on your booth, right?
Yeah, I do stickers, T-shirts. This year I'm going to have bags. Yeah, I've got Scrabble tiles. Those sell so well. I've actually got one back here. This one says Imagine on it.
Oh, that is so cool.
So yeah, and so you put them on your bookshelf, and
that is such a great idea. Because how many people have Scrabble games at home too that they don't use anymore? I hate Scrabble. I always lose. Oh man, that is awesome. Okay, so LA book event is then your next big event. You're already all
Yep.
packed up and ready to go. It starts for
Saturday.
Saturday, right? It's Saturday,
Yeah.
Sunday, April
Yep.
18 and 19 is what it is. Saturday, Sunday,
Yep.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I will say as well, if you come up to me, I'm in gold, which that's the other thing is you got to know your colors. So I'm in gold, booth number 147. And if you just come up to me or my husband or anybody else working the booth and you say, I saw you on uh Finney, saw you on Finney Reads, I'll give you 10% off. So
Woo!
just tell us. Yeah.
And then I saw a video just this morning. You also have some special things at your booth too that you could use those 10% on, right? Right?
Right? Yes. So, and that's actually why I have these here. I have special, oh, it's not, you can't really tell in the lights.
It's a faded from purple
Yeah,
to green, right?
it's,
Blue to green.
yeah, it's much brighter in real life, but I have special editions
Hmm.
of Warehouse Dreams. You can kind of see it better now that I opened it up. Of Warehouse
Ooh,
Dreams
yeah. Oh, maybe
and
that it's on purpose like this. If you bend it just a little bit, that it comes into the
it
inside.
comes out more. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I
Yeah, no,
love
that's
it.
really a good point. But yeah,
That
so
is
I've got
very
that
cool.
one. And then Dreams Under Glass is a green one as well. So, and again, hard to
Oh,
see in
and
the
you have
light,
the
but it's
border
the same
too,
idea.
right? Like there's a border on the
There
inside. Yeah,
is.
that is so
Yep.
cool.
Yeah, really.
That
Yeah, I don't know
looks
if you can
so
see it.
good.
Doesn't it
Yes.
pretty?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
So
right.
pretty in real life.
For all of you who are coming to LA now for the book festival, don't forget to say hi to me. We need to meet up then somewhere. Just saying. Because that is one of the things that I've definitely realized. A lot of authors, a lot of booktubers too, are somewhere on the East Coast. What is going on with that? There's barely anyone on the West Coast. Unbelievable.
I don't know. I mean, the weather's fantastic.
Oh yeah, especially today even, like because we don't have it as warm. We were in the 60s, like mid high 60s. I'm north. I always need to think about it. Where am I? Northwest of Los Angeles. So the other direction of Los Angeles, the other end of Los Angeles. And it was really nice today. I didn't want to work. I wanted to sit outside in the sun and read, but day job and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One day.
Very cool. On the speaker, sorry, total squirrel thought. On the speaker topic too, I was actually really curious what your favorite topic is that you like to talk about.
Ooh, that's a good one. I really like talking about how to self-publish books. I've taught that class now, I don't even know, 5, 6 times. And I feel like once you kind of hit like 5 or 6 times of teaching a class, you have it down. You're
Yeah.
not like throwing up a slide and you're like, oh, I still don't like this slide, or oh, there's a typo there. And you're prepared for the questions better. So you can stay better on time and on track without racing your people through
Mhm.
or without being like, I'm so sorry, we ran out of time. And then you're skipping half of the slides.
Yeah.
You figure out the cadence of it. So way back in the day, because I'm getting old, I used to teach, childbirth education classes.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it was really fun. And that's how I learned to teach. I taught the same thing over and over and over again. But with childbirth education, people tend to have a lot of questions. And so I learned how to let the class guide the topics,
Yeah.
because that helped them feel a lot more engaged in it. And I would still cover the same information if I paid attention and I refocused people if I
Yeah.
needed to. So
Ooh, maybe I need to hit you up because I signed up for LA Worldcon is happening in August, right? And I signed up for a
yes.
panel there, which would be my first big panel. I mean, I taught before, but more online. So maybe I need to
Yeah.
hit you up on getting some tips on how to do live
Yeah.
classes
Are you
type of
going
thing.
are you going to Comic-Con?
No, I
Okay.
would love to. I've never gotten tickets. I never so far in the couple of years that I've tried, I've never gotten tickets for that. One day I might.
It helps if you have a big group, to try to
Probably.
get tickets all together. Yeah.
Yeah, probably. We'll see. I'm not giving up yet. It's still going. Every year I will try again.
One day.
One of those
One day.
years it will work. It will work. All good. Awesome. Anything that we forgot to cover? Anything else that we should talk about when we have you on?
So we covered a lot.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot to cover.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we covered a lot of information.
Awesome. Where can people find you?
They can find me. I'm on social media, so you can find me on social media. Theresa Halvorsen, author. I think my name is spelled down below where you guys can see it. Double check the spelling. My husband's grandfather switched the O and the E in the 50s to get out of a warrant, so now no one knows how to spell it.
That story needs to be a book at one point too.
Right. He was a character. He really was.
I can't imagine.
But yeah, you can find me on all the social medias, and then you can find my books on Amazon, Draft to Digital, all of the places, Barnes and Noble. And then for editing services or classes or anything else, those are all going to be at nobadbookspress.com.
Awesome. I will put all the links also down in the description as well, so you have it easy to find it and easy to find her books and everything. Actually, I do have one more question. See, this is you're writing across a lot of different genres, and you've written a lot of books with different themes and everything. But is there still a book where you're like, oh, one of these days, this is kind of my big goal? The book that I want to write. I'm
laughing. So once I finish the Wild and Bread Chronicles, this 3-book trilogy, doesn't mean I'm going to end the world, but Kendall and Stephen's story is going to end with book 3. I'm not killing them, by the way. That's not
good. Oh God, I didn't even think about that. You gave me a hot.
I said that, and I was like, wait a minute. What if they think I'm killing them? They're not dying, I promise. So the next thing I want to write is I want to write a 5-book pirate romantasy. I already have it plotted.
Oh my God!
I cannot wait because pirates and a romantasy, so I get to play with spells and magical ships and
oh my God, yes,
magical creatures and cursed treasure and
yes,
all of it.
Oh my good, and 5 books. Oh my goodness, that is going to be fantastic. Then the focus on romance, or the focus still like Warehouse Dreams on everything else and the romance as a
everything else. Yeah,
good.
Yeah, there'll be a good. There'll be another Rivals. I love Rivals to Lovers, so there'll be some good Rivals to Lovers in there. But yeah, again, it's going to really be focusing on the action and the development of the characters too. Characters need to grow and change. Otherwise, why would we follow them?
Yeah, exactly. Character-driven stories, please. Thank you. Also, big theme for people on my channel. They know that. So yeah, all right. So when can we start reading? No, I'm just kidding. No pressure. No edit pressure on the writing, please.
Let me finish book 3 of the Wild and Bread Chronicles. I'm working on it. As soon as we're done here, I'm going to that.
Oh man, I really don't know how you do that, but all right. Excuse me. Awesome. Thank you so much, Theresa, for joining me, for talking about your books, your imprint, speaking, everything. It was so interesting to hear more about that. If you want to check out Theresa Halvorsen's book, down in the description box is where I will have everything ready for you. I highly recommend Warehouse Dreams. I'm so excited for book 2 if you want to read something truly unique in the fantasy world. I wanted to say sci-fi world, fantasy, sci-fi, everything world.
It's somewhere between sci-fi and fantasy. Again, I'm riding the romantasy wave because it's so popular right now. It's urban fantasy, it's sci-fi fantasy, it's somewhere in a weird genre of its own. I need to invent my own genre.
It's very cool. That's what it is.
Thank you.
There you go. I hope you all have an amazing rest of your day, and we'll see you soon with another video. Thanks everybody for joining.
Thanks for having me. Take care.